Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to the first spotlight of the new year. I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a healthy and a peaceful new year with increased prosperity. We have with us this evening the director of the Central Statistics Office, Mr. Raymond Phillips, and we're going to be talking about the importance of the Central Statistics Office. It's an office that has just been formed out of the statistics that we probably don't even think about will be gathered and disseminated. People will have access to it, and it only bodes well for persons doing research and the economics of the territory, the social health of the territory would have information that they're able to make informed pronouncements and intelligent decisions. So it's going to be good. So it's going to be a good night, important night of discussion with Mr. Phillips. Of course, we got to welcome back Sean Rose with the stories making the news this week. Sean, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. I haven't seen you in a while. How was your season?
Well, it was great, restful, enjoyable. I had a good time, relaxing time, and I'm thankful to be here again another year on Spotlight. Shining the spotlight on the facts.
There we go.
So that we could bring important information
Yes.
to the people of the Virgin Islands. So I'm in a good mood.
You're in a good mood. Well,
Yeah,
we share something in common. At least we have something in common tonight.
Yeah.
Let's shine the spotlight on what we consider to be a major development this week and for the rest of the year. It is very likely that there would be another high turnout when the elections are called in terms of voting. We can anticipate, based on some information we're getting, that we may see a number of young people in particular turning out at the polls. The supervisor of elections, Juliet Penn, says a number of young people have been registering, and this is a good sign for the democracy here in the BVI in terms of youthful participation. What it means in terms of the actual result at the end of the day, that is yet to be determined. For sure, we can expect, though, that the young people may play a very important role in deciding who wins the next elections. Let's hear Penn as she gives her take on it.
Yes, we have had a lot of young people coming in to register. I must say, we have had a lot of young people between 18 and 20, early 25, 30. That has been the trend. We have had persons who have become belongers who have come in to register. But mostly we have had a good turnout from the young people coming in to register to vote. I think they are more aware of what is happening and they want to be a part of the process. So they have been, I think, without even being told, when they're making 18 now, they are coming in to register. In 2014, we published our list, which is the official list now. And on that list, we have a total of 12,351 persons. But new registered voters prior to that list, we added 123 persons, which is included in this list. But at the same time, from September to the last list in September, we deleted 80 persons by death. And since September to December 2014, we have deleted 29 persons. So you see, we are, as fast as we are putting on, we are taking off as well. So, the numbers would vary. You may have one number now, and by the time you take off the persons, the number might vary some more. We have, since 2015, up to the 8th of January, we had 6 persons came in to register. So we're actually doing a lot better, and we're experiencing, a good registration rate. And it's expected now that Where in 2015, you know what's going to happen. The rate is going to increase.
Yeah, Sean,
Yes,
it's a good sign. It doesn't seem like a significant increase in the number of voters. What it seems is a demographic change in terms
Yes.
of age, and that's a good sign because I've been having relationships with some very bright young people between the ages of 20 and 35, 40. I still call 40 young, 60 is the new 40, so 40 is young. And when you engage these persons in conversations, you get good, intelligent, informed discussions. People are aware of what is happening in the territory. They're aware of the issues, and they're aware of what they want to see happen to the territory in terms of vision, in terms of goals, and in terms of action. So I think it bodes well for the country. As you know, the more people that participate in the democratic process, the healthier the democracy.
Yes,
I was drawing the reference to you off air in terms of American democracy, the United States. When Ronald Reagan won the presidency, he won with 51% of the vote, but only 26% of the electorate voted.
Yes.
Which is a poor reflection of supposed to be the major democracy in the world. So the more people register, the more voters we have, the more participants we have in the democratic process. It only could bode well for the territory. So I'm excited about that.
And there, of course, I'm sure that folks would be wondering or asking, who would these young people vote for? Now, based on what you've said, you've been hearing from, I suppose, a certain a sample within the voting population. One might suspect that they may be in support of some of the things that the government is doing, but it is also likely that there may be young people who are also dissatisfied. So at the end of the day, I'm sure that the political parties would be very concerned and would be looking to improve their canvassing to ensure that they have the young people on their side, because it is clear, based on not only registration of voters, but in terms of, as you rightly suggested, the awareness among the young people that they will be making what we could call informed choices. And that could pretty much decide which party or which individuals win in the respective districts or at large when the next elections are called.
Well, you have to give credit to the media as well for bringing real-time information on a daily basis and keeping the public alert and aware of what's happening. And I think the media is, in large measure, responsible for the attraction of the younger people to the political arena.
Especially when young people are consuming information from the different media sources and not necessarily just one.
Yes.
Because that would really allow them to, as you rightly suggest again, be much more balanced in the way they look at things and get that that information that is objective and not necessarily coming from one particular perspective, because biases are easily injected in news materials if one isn't careful. And certainly I suppose that as you look across the spectrum in the Virgin Islands, as it concerns media, it will be easy to discern which ones you can trust in terms of objectivity and which one is really focusing on the facts. And if there are those who are not, then that would also be easily distinguished.
Yeah. Absolutely. Another factor to Sean is that while young people may be on the same page with one party or one group of candidates or the other in terms of vision, there could be a difference of opinion regarding the methods to achieve the vision.
So the economic philosophy or the political philosophy
might differ, and so we might want the same thing, but have different ways to achieve it, and that could be the deciding factor of whether you vote for one group or the other, or one individual or the other. So there are some fine lines that are drawn and that you have to dissect within the voter engagement process.
And I think that discussion is quite interesting. Of course, it would benefit some of the politicians and the political parties even more, of course, and even improve the level of political education as we are speaking to it. Yeah. But one question I would ask is, would the various parties also consider having more young people on their respective tickets? And would more young people be interested in taking on active politics as a career?
Well, that's a good question. From the director of elections, you get a sense that young people certainly want to be involved in the process.
Yes.
Whether they want to come forward as candidates, we are not certain. We don't have that indication. And that is a big step.
Yes.
Getting involved in politics on the front lines as a candidate.
At a competitive level, yes.
Yeah, yes. Is a big step. It's costly. It has become
That's
costly,
right.
I should say. And
both in terms of the finances and your career, your reputation.
Yes. Many ways, costly in many
Yes.
ways. Yeah. So that might be a dissuasive measure.
Yes.
However, the continued involvement, I'm sure, will bring some of those persons who would normally be on the sideline or need additional courage, would bring them up to the front. As I said, I've been engaging with some young people who are involved and who have some brilliant ideas and who certainly could become candidates now and become candidates in the future, who are candidates now and who can become candidates in the future. So it bodes well for the territory. I'm excited about it. I think what will have to happen on the campaign level is certainly the level of information that's going to be debated.
Yes.
would have to be on a different level.
I agree.
I don't think I don't think it's going to be the electorate is going to be satisfied for you to just
Normal
slander
mudslinging
and
and so forth,
mudslinging
yes.
and
You're going to have to raise the debate, the level of debate.
You're going to have to debate.
Yes.
You're going to have to debate, and you're going to have to defend your philosophies and your ideologies, and you're going to have to say specifically what actions you're going to take in order to achieve your goals and to realize the vision that you have for the territory.
But,
so,
you've said that, and that's certainly accepted. I just recall that I wanted to share with you that as it relates to young people participating, I haven't seen any evidence of young people taking part in that fight for the 9th district as yet. And the reason why I'm saying this, there are suggestions that some 9 people or maybe even more are considering or are being considered to run for the 9th district. Of course, we know the veteran leader of the opposition is stepping out, and that is pretty much opening up the door for someone to take over after he by the time the elections would be called, he would have represented the 9th district for some 41 years pretty much, or 42, going into 42 years. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, the question is, who are these 9 people or more, and whether or not any of them includes people, as you said, well, you said 60 is young, but I would say if anyone under the age of 40 is likely to be in that race.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes. It will be very difficult to hear any real pronouncements, at this particular time. People are probably testing the waters, exploring the possibilities, trying to create relationships, build a line. Which
is quite interesting. It's a small society, and you're wondering how are they able to keep that tight-lipped?
Well, because it's a dangerous game. So, by the nature of politics, you're perhaps forced to be circumspect in your speech.
Yes.
And things that you say, and learn to manage information in such a way as not to hurt yourself or to hurt anyone else. So it could be shaping up be quite interesting.
Yes.
Who's going to run? I see we have I heard an announcement or an advertisement on the radio this morning from
Devon Osborne.
Devon Osborne.
Yes, he's thrown his hat in the ring.
He's thrown his hat in the ring.
Yes.
So there you go. And he's a relatively young person as
That's
well.
right.
So
And,
there you go.
I should be chatting with someone this week as well who has expressed an interest in running as well. And I have other information that another gentleman who is yet to be, that information is yet to be confirmed, is also considering in another part of the territory. So one pretty much in the 9th and another in another area that I would want to verify before I actually disclose anything. But
well, we know
it's getting quite interesting.
As far as young people go, we know that Shawande is going to be well established in the race, and he's a relatively young person. I would say I got him about a good 30 years, so he's relatively young. So we have But
has he decided where he would run though?
I think it sounds to me like he'll run at large, but I think he's the president of the
People's Empowerment
Party. Yeah. So that has to be sorted out still. But he ran at large the last time, and he didn't do too badly for the first time. So and I think people are liking some of the things that he said and is saying. So he might,
is now a good time for the candidates to come forward, stop hiding behind the curtains and the feelings of doubt and so forth, and let the territory know what the intentions are?
Well, what I can say is a good time is fast approaching. Yes. Because this is 2015.
Yes.
And certainly you're gonna see a lot more discussion and debates and arguments and ideas coming forward.
It's heating up,
and people jockeying for the best ideas and trying to get their message out. So whoever's going to be in it, they need to be well in advance in their plans right now. So so we're going to have a good time this year. I'm excited about the whole thing. Really.
You sound excited.
Yeah, man. Listen, I love politics.
Elections 2015, 2016.
Yes, I love politics. I love the campaigning. I enjoyed it tremendously when I was in it. I come from a father who was constantly engaged in politics. He took me everywhere with him. So, it's almost genetic.
Well, you're well placed to give a prediction. Is it 2015 in your estimation, or 2016, the election date?
Well,
which you think?
We
know it's up to the premier, and he has the final call.
That's very difficult. That's very difficult to say at this time. I think there are a number. I'm not ready to predict yet, but I think there are a number of factors that would have to align that would make it easier or make a prediction more readily available, and I don't see those factors aligned as yet. So I would hesitate to make any comment on in that regard at this particular time.
Well, please save that for separate discussion.
Yes, my brother. Yes, well, thank you very much. Good discussion.
Pleasure, yes.
Good discussion. We're gonna take a word from our sponsors when we come back, and we'll come back with my good brother, Director of the Central Statistics Office, Brother Raymond Phillips. We're going to talk about statistics and what it means for the decision-making process of the BVI. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and CCT Global Communications.
He's been working so hard on this. I am so extremely proud of him.
Waldo Emerson, writer and philosopher, once said, and I quote, "To finish the moment, to find the journey's end in every step of the road, to live the greatest number of good hours is wisdom."
Being a single parent, my husband died. Juggling work, children, school was tough, but I did it.
I feel like I have a fresh start in life. HLSCC has definitely exceeded my expectations.
I am the younger of two in my family, but I am the first to go off to a university. HLSCC has given me the right jump start to pave in my success.
You don't come to college just to come to college. You come to college to graduate.
Just coming out of high school at a very young age, HLSCC was the ideal stepping stone to prepare me for the greater world. It's right at home with great facilities and great lecturers. My college experience was phenomenal.
serving the community. For over 25 years, Tortola Concrete Limited is the leading producer of concrete products in the BVI. With grades of 3,000 to 5,000 PSI, Tortola Concrete ready-mix quality unmatched in the industry, and we can mix to your specifications. Our aggregates are clean through our unique washing process for our smooth, clean mix. And our special chilling process makes our concrete crack resistant. Tortola Concrete Limited is the concrete company for all your quality concrete products. Gravel, road base, face stone, boulders, armor rock, coarse sand, terrace, and the cleanest, strongest, crack resistant, ready mix concrete. Tortola Concrete batch plant serve you Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. until the last load. Our knowledgeable, effective staff gives you free estimate and delivers on time to any location. Contact Tortola Concrete at 494-3259, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Conveniently located in Parkwood Pond near the BVI electricity plant. At Tortola Concrete Limited, the strength is in the mix.
Have you heard? Clarence Thomas Limited Home Centers is making things more affordable in the British Virgin Islands. We are making things better for you during these hard times by reducing prices throughout our stores, using our new pricing strategy. But wait, there is more. Created exclusively for our loyal customers, now there's a rewards program implemented just for you. Sign up to become a loyalty member and be the first to get member perks such as exclusive email offers, members-only discounts, private sales event, and much, much more. Our loyalty program gives you savings and benefits that will be equal to or better than our crazy sales of past years. With our loyalty program, you'll get monthly specials on items exclusively only for our loyalty customers at prices that won't be matched. Enroll in our loyalty program today. It's free. It's easy. Get ready BVI for lower prices at Clarence Thomas Limited Home Centers. Clarence Thomas Limited, your number one stop for the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Edjuenka, and I'm here with my good brother, Director of the Central Statistics Office, Brother Raymond Phillips. Good to see you.
It's good to be here, Edjuenka.
Yes, man. What happened to the Development Planning Unit?
Well, what actually happened is that a decision was taken to remove the planning function, from from my office,
okay,
and was placed in MFU, which is Macro Fiscal Unit in Finance. They figured that, given the importance of information, that my office should concentrate strictly on, providing the information that is needed, for us to make the decisions that needs to be made.
So you split in two. You got a macro fiscal unit.
Well, it wasn't actually split in two. Actually, that unit was created by finance, and they thought that it would be better placed, in that unit. Yeah.
So you're focused specifically now on statistics gathering, compiling, and analysis.
Specifically, yes.
Oh, okay, all right. I was wondering if the planning unit was still in existence as a planning functionary, and you had moved into just data gathering alone. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I see how that works. Now, there's a lot going on. What has been your mandate as now being a central statistics office? What are your terms of reference?
Well, the mandate remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, providing timely, accurate information. However, what the thought was is that they felt that we were being a bit sidetracked by actually also, being involved in the planning aspect. Their thoughts are, let's just provide the information. Let somebody else let some other department bother with actually using the information in the planning process.
Okay. And so now you strictly gathering information. I know that you're going to conduct a survey.
Yes.
Talk to us about the survey
Yes.
you're getting ready to conduct.
As we speak, we are getting prepared to conduct our first labor force survey. we thought it very important at this juncture to do such a survey because, since 2008 we have had an economic downturn, a global economic downturn, and it has, in a sense, kind of disrupted our very, very traditionally low unemployment rate. Because, as you know, there were quite a number of reports of persons losing their jobs and businesses closing down. And this is something that, we are not really accustomed to. We have always enjoyed healthy economic growth. And that is evident in the fact that we import so much labor. Mm-hmm. And, it goes without saying, once you import labor, it means that you have work. And we have always been in the position where, we import labor. So we have always been in that good economic standing. But, post 2008, it threw a little spoke. It really threw a wrench in our spokes, right? Yes. So, that it made it, pertinent for us to now, do this labor force survey and see where we are, as it relates to our employment status.
So you were unable to get a grasp of what the actual impact of the economic slowdown was.
Exactly.
And so because of that, you were unable to, the governments of the day were unable to make perhaps the decisions that was needed to make in order to mitigate that circumstance.
Yes, to arrest this whole situation, they need to know exactly what's happening on the ground, where it's happening, how it's happening, and that kind of thing. It's very, very important.
Okay. So the labor force, is this the first of its kind, the labor force survey? You had a labor force survey before?
No, we have never done a labor force survey, and as I said, simply because we have not in the past had an unemployment problem.
There was no need to do that.
There was no need to do one. Mm-hmm. But now we are not sure what's going on, so we need to have one done.
Okay. So this is going to begin when? When are you going to start on the survey?
Well, as we speak, the training is now going on for the persons that are going to go out into the field and do the interviews. And we expect to go into the field coming Monday, the 19th.
Okay. And are you going around to each household? How is the survey going to be done?
Well, what we have done, we have selected a sample. And this sample is done in proportions. So we're going to do a proportion of households in each district, right? So we have already drawn our sample. We expect to cover at least 700 households, which will be approximately around 7% of our total households in the country. So we want to get a good representative sample, to make sure that the results really speak to what the situation is on the ground.
Okay. And what's going to be logistics of the information gathering? You're going to go around, you're going to have persons going around asking questions, and how should the public respond to you, and what can we expect during this survey process?
Well, yes, we are going to have persons going from house to house. So, we are just asking that the general public, be understanding and, be cooperative. I mean, there are a number of questions on there, but it's an effort for us to see what's going on with each individual household. Because, as you indicated, the whole idea is to, if there are issues, address the issues. So we will have persons coming to the houses, having face-to-face interviews. The questionnaire could take between 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on how many persons are in the households. Somewhat similar to the census. But the questionnaire is not nearly as long as the census, so, we don't expect that persons will be engaged as long as they were when we did the census. Persons will, the questions are not sensitive questions, just easy questions to answer. But at the end of the day, we would have information that speaks to exactly what's going on the ground as it relates to our employment/unemployment situation.
Okay. And so you're going to bring a form, and you're going to assist the persons in the household to fill the form out to get the information that you need, or you're going to have the form and ask them questions?
Yes, that's the latter. We're going to have the form, we're going to ask the questions,
and you're going to do the writing.
But they will see exactly what's being recorded on the form, because it will be a face-to-face interaction. So, nothing will go on there that the individual did not say. So, so they could be rest assured that, what they say is what we'll capture.
Now, what about the concern about intrusiveness? That somebody might ask a question that I might feel that is a personal question that I don't want to answer, and I might feel that's intrusive. How do I respond to that? And are there penalties for not answering? How effective is the enforcement of the gathering techniques?
But there are always concerns because, I mean, some questions one person might consider intrusive, another person might think, hey, it's no big deal. Mm-hmm. Yes, but every person that is going to visit the households have to take an oath of confidentiality. So therefore, they are not supposed to divulge any information that is collected. There are penalties. We have a statistical act that was done in 2005 that speaks to penalties, for persons divulging information collected out in the field. There are also penalties, for persons who don't want to cooperate and comply with, the enumerators when they come to, the household to gather the information. However, we would prefer not to have to refer to our statistical act, because, what we do is in an effort to make things better for everyone that lives in this country.
Well, that's interesting. I think we ought to know what the penalties are. I mean, I never thought that there were any penalties. I just asked the question knowing that we would need some sort of enforcement. But now that you mentioned that there may be penalties for not complying with the persons that come to ask the questions, you have to let us know what those penalties are.
Well, the penalties are, and of course, a case would have to be made through the Attorney General's office. But if we do get to a position where we have to, enforce penalties on someone, the penalties, I think, about 3 months in prison. I mean, I would hope it never gets to that.
That's a considerable penalty.
Yes, but it works both ways. It's actually the penalties for persons who are under my watch. If they divulge information, the penalty is double.
So it's 6 months for them, and 3 months for me if I don't comply.
Exactly. Okay. So we think it was best to make it that way because it just goes to show how serious we take gathering your information. So we want you to take it serious also to give us your information.
What kind of questions are you going to be asking? Give us some samples.
Well, first of all, we establish, who is the head of the household and that kind of thing, and then we would go on to ask, whether persons are working or not. We also isolate persons over the age of 15 because we're not going to be asking questions of persons under the age of 15 because our target population here is the working age population. We'll ask questions as to the type of occupation you have, the type of industry that you work in. We'll be interested to know how many hours you work, how many months you work. We will also be interested in your your income. However, we never ask anyone their direct income. We would normally ask them to give us a range in which your income falls because we know that one could be quite sensitive and persons are not too eager to divulge that type of information. We would also ask questions about unemployed because we also want to know if persons are unemployed. Why are they unemployed? Have they taken steps to find employment? We're also going to ask questions of persons not in the labor force. These could be students, retired persons, but by the same token, we also want to find out why persons choose not to be in the labor force. Because remember, a person who is of working age, who does not work, who does not want to work, is not in the labor force. Mm-hmm. So we want to know why that person choose not to be in the labor force. So it's a host of questions, but at the end of the day, we want to ascertain, what is the position, as it relates to these three specific statuses.
Okay. We have to take a break for a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at what you're going to do with this, the information, what you hope to analyze from it, what you hope to glean from it, and whether this information is going to be just for the BVI or shared regionally with other countries and other organizations. We'll be right back with more Spotlight and more Mr. Raymond Phillips right after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, and H. Lavity Stout Community College.
It's not even about being bigger. David and Goliath taught us that it's about being better than you were yesterday. At CCT, we're committed to building on better music downloads, better videos, better online gaming, better internet so your kids can get their homework done at better hours, better customer support when you need it the most. A better everything makes a better BVI so that you could work better and live better. You see, at CCT, we're not only a local company, we're a better company with the real 4G network. Visit your CCT flagship store today and experience CCT Life Unlimited.
Life is like a mountain you must climb. Life is like a treasure you must find. A baby learning how to talk with just one step begins to walk. One step at a time will lead you to paradise. Your dreams are there to find. One step to paradise.
You know I meet Miss Beauty in the morning sun. Heave away, boy, heave away. And I asked her what's the matter with the eye. Heave away, boy, heave away. He said, did you
The 20th Performing Arts Series at H. Lavity Stout Community College continues on Saturday, January 17th with the Fuji Master, Elmore Stout in Virgin Islands Story and Song. 8 p.m. at the Eileen L. Parsons Auditorium. Tickets are $20 and available at Bella Bloom, Sonny Caribe, and the HLSCC bookstore.
Hi, my name is Clarence Faulkner of PMI Capital Services, placement agent for the Tortola Pier Park investment offering. A Ponzi scheme is an investment structure that involves the payment of purported returns to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors. For example, if Jack gets Mary to invest some money, then solicits Susan to invest, Jack will use the money that Susan invested to pay Mary. But what happens is, Jack will have to keep getting more and more new investors to help pay the ones he already has involved. This is why we call this a scheme or a scam, as there is no underlying revenue-generating asset. Tortola Pier Park public offering is in no way a Ponzi scheme, but a valid investment structure where the public has the opportunity to invest in real assets. In this case, the Pier Park. The earnings generated from the Pier Park is what will in turn pay investors an annual dividend, and at the end of their respective term, the return of their initial investment. There are three categories of preference shares, those being Class A, Class B, and Class C. The public can choose to invest a minimum of $5,000 in Class A shares for a period of 7 years at a dividend rate of 5.75%, or Class B shares for 10 years at a rate of 6.75%, and lastly, Class C shares for a period of 15 years at a rate of 8.45%. For additional information about the public offering, call PMI Capital Services at 494-4484 or email us at pierpark@pmipensions.com.
Tired of your home looking dull and boring? Looking for a new, different look for your home? Come, check out our new addition at Blinds & Things BVI Home Goods. We carry exquisite items for the bedroom, beautiful comforters, flat-free pillows, deep pocket sheets in a rainbow of colors, bathroom, no-slip and non-stick rugs, shower curtains and the hooks to carry. Choose a wide variety of dishes to brighten up the kitchen for the holidays to come. Don't forget our exquisite pieces for the living room, from tall to short vases. Decorate your house with unique pieces from Blinds & Things BVI Home Goods. Visit our showroom located in Skelton Bay Lot, Fish Bay, and you can contact us by email at blindsvi@hotmail.com or call us 284-494-1331.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Director of Central, I just can't remember that. It's Central Statistic Office, Brother Raymond Phillips, and we have a really good conversation going, if you just join us, about our upcoming labor force survey that's going to be conducted, and that's going to start again on Monday.
Yes, on Monday, January the 19th. Yes.
And it's going to go for how long?
Well, we expect for it to run for a month. So we hope to have our people out of the field by February the 20th.
Okay. And you had your people trained. You were talking off the air about some training.
Yes, presently the enumerators are being trained. We had
they're trained and to do what?
They're actually being trained in how to administer the questionnaire. Questionnaire etiquette and those kind of things form part of the training. They also go through the questions. What answers to expect, and in the event persons are being a little bit difficult, how to reassure them that the information that they're given is necessary information, and of course it's confidential information. So those are the kind of things that they try to impress upon them, and also teach them basically how to conduct yourself. When you're actually conducting the interviews, make the interviewee comfortable. Make them feel as if giving the information is not a problem. So it's all in an effort to get maximum response.
Participation.
Yes.
Okay, so is the information going to remain within the territory, or are this information going to be shared regionally or internationally?
Well, I need to say that this whole exercise is being done in collaboration with the OECS. So the information definitely will be shared with the OECS. The OECS is actually very instrumental in having the survey done, because they are responsible for us having financial and technical support in getting it done. But of course, at the end of the day, the information belongs to the BVI. But definitely it would be shared regionally.
And what's the anticipated use of the information?
Well, first of all, the unemployment rate is one of the most sensitive indicators in any country. So first of all, we need to know what that is. Now,
and that's an indicator of the strength of the economy.
Well, it's an indicator of the weakness of the economy / strength of the economy. Because of course, if the rate is high, it kind of points to a weak economy. If the rate is low, it points to a strong economy. Right. But that information is going to be available by the demographics of the country. So we're going to know whether it's the young unemployed or the old that are not the old, but the more matured individuals are unemployed. Is the employment higher among males or females? Is the unemployment more prevalent in East End as opposed to West End? Is the unemployed the single parent, or that kind of thing. So
education levels,
right? So what it does, it gives the current administration the tools to zero in on where the problems, as it relates to unemployment, where the problems are. And you can only address a problem if you know what it is and where it is and how it is. So the main use of this information would be for the power that be to look at it in specific terms, and then they should be able to frame policies, to address the situation if there is one.
Okay. So social economic planning.
Yes, very important for that.
Now, just shift a little bit. The Statistics Office, the Central Statistics Office, will also be gathering other types of information.
Oh yes,
not just labor force information.
Definitely, the labor force survey forms
that's your focus right now.
Yes, it's our focus right now, but the forms are a very small part of what we do, because we we collect a host of different information. We have it broken down into three categories. We have economic statistics, we have social statistics, and then we have our national accounts statistics. The economic statistics is the one that speaks to trade, tourism, financial statistics, international business corporations, and things of that nature. Our social statistics speaks to things like, our vital statistics, things like births and deaths, and which are important to know as it relates to our population growth and things of that nature. And of course, our national accounts speak specifically to. It's also part of economic statistics, but because it is so important, because this one actually measures the strength of the economy. So we thought it pertinent to separate it from the economic statistics and concentrate on making sure that we have that estimated regularly. So you can tell at any given point in time whether the economy is growing or if it's not growing. That's the specific function of that statistics.
Okay, and how up to date these statistics are going to be the real time? Because a lot of instances you ask for data, it's a year or two behind. How up to date the information is going to be?
Well, it varies from statistics to statistics. We try our best to keep them as up to date as we can, but a lot of the data is collected, it's produced on an annual basis, right? So you probably will not get anything for 2013 until we are into 2014. And one of the things also is that a lot of the information that we collect, is collected manually. So when it gets into my office, I have to have some of my people sit down and actually, have it entered or have it automated. And sometimes that takes some time. But one of the other problems is that we have to answer to third parties. In other words, we collect the data from elsewhere. And sometimes they might not have it ready, when we, request it. And we have no choice but to wait until they are ready. So, those are some of the challenges that we have. So when some of the statistics are not as up to date as, we would prefer, those are some of the issues that we have to contend with on a daily basis. But we do our best to try to keep it, as up to date as possible.
But within the government structure itself, is a lot of the data that you just mentioned, births and deaths, health issues, social issues, trade issues, incorporation, business incorporations, saving account will be in the banking industry, housing starts, regarding would be in town and country planning. So a lot of the information sounds like it would be within the government sphere already. And how is what's going to happen to automate a system whereby you at least could get what's happening in this probably the largest of organizations in the territory, the government?
Yes, well, as you speak, you might have heard that we have an e-government initiative that is now being looked at. However, we don't know exactly when, that's all going to be ironed out. So as it is now, even though, as you indicated, a lot of the information is housed in these different government departments and ministries. But the thing is that many of them are not automated to the point where if I say, can you send me such and such data? They can say, okay,
they just can't go in the computer and email it to you.
And upload it to you.
Yeah.
No. I would have to actually send somebody to physically go and sit in that department, because many of the departments, they don't want the files and the information to leave the department, the physical files, because in a lot of those files there is sensitive information. So in many instances, I have to send someone to sit there and extract what we need from those files and forms and books, and I'm not knocking the process, but I personally cannot wait until we get to the point where everything is uploaded to my office, so then we can have real-time information ready for the public.
Well, it seems then that there's going to have to be a real big effort to create an infrastructure or information infrastructure that will have a maximum utilization of the technology.
Yes. Well, I totally agree that it's going to be a mammoth undertaking, but we have to get there at some point in time, because we can't be left behind. That's the direction in which the world is heading. It's information, and we have to pull away from this manual, tedious kind of labor, because it's counterproductive.
Yeah. Now, who's going to have access to the information that you're gathering? Can anybody just call up and ask for information? How is it going to work?
Yes, the information is free. So as long as we have it, you call, you send an email, you walk into my office. As long as we have it, the information is there for everyone. And I mean, I would tell the public to don't just listen to the whispers, and if you feel that you need something, come into my office. You might be surprised.
Where are you located?
Well, I'm located in the Central Admin Complex.
The same place?
Yes.
That where the development planning unit was?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes, the office the location of the office has not changed.
Okay.
Yes, so come in. You might
and
be
that's
surprised.
The east wing?
The east wing of the Central Admin Complex. Yeah, once you come in and you
what
ask
floor
for
is there?
CSO on the second floor, the third floor actually, the ground
the
first.
third floor. Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, on the third floor. So come in and see us. I mean, you might be surprised because we have a lot of information. I mean, as you indicated earlier, it might be that we might not be able to give you the last year, but we might be able to give you enough for you to, whatever it is research you're doing, to make a well-informed decision.
Okay, great. So following the turning of the clock, the labor force survey coming up, a person's going to be coming around to ask questions to 700 households in the 9 districts.
Yes.
How are they going to be identified?
Yes, every person who forms part of my team, they would have an identification tag, indicating their name and that they're part of the team that's collecting the information. We have impressed upon them to be polite, and all we're asking is that for persons to understand that we're doing this, for everyone, and just cooperate. If at any time they feel uncomfortable, they can call me. If they feel that that the person that
if there's a complaint.
If there's a complaint, I can always be reached at as I said at the CSO. Just call the government number, 494-3701. Ask for the CSO. Ask for Mr. Phillips. I take all calls. I don't screen calls. It doesn't matter because I work for the public, so anybody can call me.
What times should the public expect the enumerators to come by?
Well, because we know that everybody works, practically everybody works, the enumerators are expected to visit the household between 5 and 9. We don't encourage that they go before, because more than likely persons will still be at work, and after, because then we think that that's getting a bit too
people getting ready to relax and go to bed
and that kind of thing, right? Yes. So between 5 and 9, and on weekends. If persons are not comfortable with a time that someone comes, when they do come, they can always arrange a time for them to come, and I'm sure that we'll be able to accommodate them.
Okay, great. Last word? Anything I forgot to ask you want to get up?
Well, my last word again would be, to make an appeal for persons to cooperate when my enumerators come around. We want to get maximum participation here, because we want the information to be as representative as possible. Because it is such a sensitive issue, we have to get it right. Because we don't want, at the end of the day, when the information gets to the policymakers, that they're making policies, or they're formulating policies on information that is not as accurate as it can be. So please, we're just begging for your participation, and we'll be very grateful. And as I want to iterate that any information that we collect will be held in the strictest of confidence. Nobody can call my office and ask for any information from this survey, because by law they cannot get it.
Great. Well, Brother Phillips, it's good to see you as usual. I always enjoy talking to you. I mean, I love statistics, and I'm glad to see there's a CSO, Central Statistics Office, and I'm definitely going to be using it a lot. I forget that it's there sometimes, and I have used it on a number of occasions, as you well know, but I'm going to be using it more, because I think when you're making a presentation, it's always good to have undisputed data. It's no longer good enough to give your opinion. We are in an age now where everybody's got an opinion, and we really need to know what the facts are. So I'm definitely going to be using that office more than I've done in the past. So I'm very glad to see you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for being on Spotlight. And don't stay away so long. Don't forget, you got a friend on radio and television. And anytime you got information to get out, anytime you want the public to know anything, you don't need no bureaucracy.
Well,
you don't need to fill out a form.
I'm glad to know that. And yes, we'll be in touch.
Yes, my brother. Thank you very much, and all the best for the new year. And all the best for the survey.
Same to you, man.
Cool. We've been having challenges with electricity. There have been some, load shedding. Blackouts here, blackouts there. We got some capacity issues, and we don't quite know what's going on. Well, the spotlight is going to shine on the director of the BVI Electricity Corporation next Tuesday evening here on Spotlight. Make sure you're ahead. Don't miss it. We're going to find out exactly what's going on regarding our energy generation here in the territory. I want to thank Brother Phillips again for stopping by. We want to thank you for watching. Spotlight is seen Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 2:30 p.m. right here on Channel 55 JTV. You can follow Spotlight on Facebook. You can participate in discussions coming out of various discussions, or you can make a suggestion of guests and topics that you want to have discussed on Spotlight. I'm Ed Juenka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and H. Lavity Stout Community College.